Today, I stand firmly in support of the motion this House would ban child actors. As first speaker, I will do three things. First, I will define the motion. Second, I will explain our team's stance and model. And third, I will present our key arguments. Let's begin with definitions. By child actors, we refer to individuals below the legal adult age participating in professional acting for film, television, or theater. By ban, we mean that children will no longer be equally allowed to work as actors in the entertainment industry. Our stance is simple. Children should not be placed in a profit-driven industry that exposes them to stress, exploitation, and developmental harm. Firstly, banning child actors significantly reduces stress on children. Children are not built to handle multiple high-pressure responsibilities at once. When they are forced to juggle school and acting, they are unable to focus properly on either. Their brains are still developing, especially functions like concentration and emotional regulation. On top of that, child actors face intense pressure from directors, parents, and even the public. Being in the spotlight exposes them to criticism and expectations that most adults struggle with, let alone children. Kids should be spending their time resting, playing, and developing naturally, not working under stress. Therefore, banning child actors protects children from unnecessary psychological pressure. Secondly, banning child actors eliminates the risk of exploitation. Children cannot fully understand contracts or give informed consent, yet they are placed in an industry controlled entirely by adults, directors, producers, and sometimes even parents who may prioritize profit. This creates a clear power imbalance. Even with regulation, children can still be overworked, underpaid, or pressured into roles they don't fully understand. We have seen cases where child actors' earnings were mismanaged or taken by others, leaving them with little control over their own success. By banning child actors, we remove the system entirely and ensure children are not exposed to exploitation. Thirdly, banning child actors ensures children can prioritize education and development. There are only 24 hours in a day. Acting takes up significant time that could otherwise be spent studying, socializing, or resting. Even with on-set tutoring, it cannot replace a real school environment where children learn social skills, teamwork, and communication. Education is essential for long-term success, and children should not have to sacrifice it for a career they may not even fully understand. Thus, banning child actors ensures equal opportunity for proper education and growth. Finally, children deserve a normal childhood. Acting replaces time for friendships, hobbies, and simple life experiences. Growing up in an adult environment forces children to mature too quickly, often in unhealthy ways. We believe no child should have to give that up for the sake of entertainment. In conclusion, this motion is about prioritizing children over profit. We have shown that child acting leads to stress, exploitation, loss of education, and the loss of a normal childhood. And most importantly, it is not necessary because the industry can function without it. When the harms are serious and benefits are replaceable, the decision becomes clear. For the protection, well-being, and future of our children, this House must ban child actors. Thank you.
This House would ban child actors. I strongly disagree with this motion according to the following. Firstly, some children have large dreams ahead of them which they have already started. What can a sudden ban do? Well, it can make children give up everything in their life. Isn't that bad enough? When a child loses his or her role in acting, they will put no effort in anything else due to this disappointment in their life. So, why is this a down point? A child needs to be smart and hardworking to succeed in the future. A child's success will depend on future generations and so on. Child actors shouldn't be banned according to this. So, Judge, don't you agree that banning child actors is now more a serious act, and we shouldn't ban child actors according to very serious points, like I just included? But why? But opposition might rebut that the child actors is a very small population, but actually, child actors, well, when I said future generations, that will become much more um a larger population. So this will not be good. And
POI.
even small populations, it still depends. Yes, POI.
But like even if child actors did not exist, the industry can still function without it. As for example, they can use like adult actors to replace child actors, or they can use like CGI or like other graphics to improvise on like the child actors.
Well, why do we want to disclude child actors when you have an equal opportunity of including them and making their life better? And To rebut that opposition, in the first speech, they said, why would children have pressure? Like they said, children will have pressure, but children will have pressure because it's banned, not because of acting. Like they'll have a happier life by acting. That's why they chose to be a child actor. And movies will have a better product, better uh like like a financial good. So, uh, to conclude this clash in this debate, we have equally won this one, that we shouldn't ban child actors according to the pressure. So, thank you and proud to oppose.
Okay, so basically in this speech, what I'm going to do is firstly, I'm going to respond to the first speaker's argument. Then I'm going to rebuild my teammate's point. Then I'm going to give lastly one extension, right? So what our opponent keeps on talking about is how these kids have large dreams. And just because we ban these kind of child actors, they give up in every single thing in life. They make no effort in their future lives, right? We agree that these kids do have dreams. They do want to be child actors. And on proposition, we do want to continue these kind of things, but it is actually dangerous to the children. We will explain afterwards, right? And what they say is they give up every single thing in life, which is, we think, a bit too extreme, right? Just because you lost something doesn't mean you basically don't do anything in the future and you just want to die, right? That doesn't work like that, and the world doesn't work like that, right? And then they say, well, maybe there will be a much more bigger population than that these kids do want to act, right? We agree that lots of people want to act, right? But what we are doing here isn't, we don't want to ban these kind of children's dream again, but we are protecting them from adult scrutiny and industry incentives, right? Which is profit driven. And they also say they have a happy life by acting. Basically, they're repeating the same thing. And then we tell you again, we are protecting these children. We are not trying to harm them or whatever, right? They basically talk, their refutation is really simple, is literally the same thing. They repeat it again, just how it's really important for these kids to act happy. But my teammate's point is much more bigger than that, right? He tells you how it's not, they don't know the meaningful consent. They don't understand the contracts. They don't know the long-term risks. They have no negotiation power, right? They're easily influenced by fame and money. That's what my partner talking about. But what they keep on talking about is just basically how these children would be happy. We know that these things bring them joy, but actually, when you have these kind of risks, we should completely make these children, right, to go away from that. Because when harm is given, right, when harm is structural, only removal will actually benefit from it, and it only these banning could solve the problem, right? Moving on to my own argument, then basically we think our second point is basically that better alternative exists, right? So risking children welfare is really unnecessary, right? Firstly, the industry does not fundamentally require child actors. Many child roles can be played by older actors through, I don't know, casting, makeup, AI, or whatever, right? Technology is strong nowadays. There are lots of other ways to solve this problem. Film is already constructed, right? Audiences are used to suspending disbelief as long as the story remains convincing. Secondly, the animation and voice actions can also be replaced for many performances. These mediums are already widely used in family films like Simpsons and whatever, right? And can still convey innocence, emotion, and growth without putting a real children under real pressure, right? What matters is how the story is told, not whether a children is physically present, right? Thirdly, a band encourages innovation rather than limiting creativities, right? Right now, child actors are often used as a shortcut to create emotional impact, right? Just because removing that force, filmmakers should rely more on stronger writing, right? Stronger direction, stronger, I don't know, AI or technological use, right? Which can improve the storytelling by overall. If we can achieve similar emotional and cultural outcomes without exposing children to real exploitation, right? Then contributing to use child actors is not a necessary choice. On our side, we believe that protecting these children are really, really important. We want them to have a normal childhood life, not like what they talk about, how it's going to make them unhappy, right? Want to make these kids unhappy, but we need to protect them from risks and dangers, right? We think we completely outweigh our opponents because we provided you a much more impact than them. We are proud to propose.
The second speaker, firstly, I would rebut the opposition side, and then secondly, I will talk about my argument. So firstly, they have said that children will hold stress and pressure, but No, because they wanted to become actors and became actors. So they're basically so they are their dreams became true. So how they become stressed. And secondly, unlike
Go on.
so famous no thank you. Unlike so famous grown-up actors, child actors won't be stressed by their jobs or like those paparazzi following you. And actually, because of banning, children hold stress.
Why?
No, thank you. And secondly, they talked about replacement to adults. Children have dreams to become actors and have the chance to. Then why ban it? So moving on to my argument. Firstly, my argument is about freedom of expression. So our claim is that acting is a form of creative expression, and banning child actors removes a meaningful avenue for talented children to achieve.
Why?
No, thank you. So children have feelings, opinions, and voices. Us human express it with art. So, if we ban the key, if we ban expression, if we ban art for children, then can't children won't be able to express their feelings to the world. And so that's why children need the freedom to express those feelings. So this is true because acting allows talented children to pursue their interests, develop skills, and access unique opportunities. And so art is a tool for children to express their uniqueness, their talent, or their skill. And many children benefit from those acting, like their performance. And so that's why when banning it, children will not be able to um children will not be able to live in a free society and a diverse society. And also, for people who are looking at the movie, we need diversity. We want diversity. We want diverse movies, to look at. So when we ban child actors, we won't be able to look at those diverse. And so looking at children who are expressing the feelings they have in their daily life, we feel that we have to, or we must prioritize children's feelings. And this is so important because the harms proposition identifies are not unique to actings. So like similar pressures exist in elite sports, music, and so banning acting for child actors won't uh won't do anything to the pressure or the demand child actors have. Thank you.
Judge, but in this world, we want a world where that child actors they have much more insurance in their health, in their safety, and their education. And what we actually is just wanting is to have the children to have a better life. And like our opponent, they believe that the happy life for some children is just by acting. So first of all, what I'm gonna do in this debate is to mainly give some extensions for my teammate, and also just to provide those rebuttals. Starting off with some extensions. So first of all, what we already talked to you, Judge, is that the children they ban this is like the only way just to prevent the high risk of those anxiety. And that this is important since that anxiety is just a main problem in this whole society, and people can just get depression or some other disease just from because of this. Secondly, our second my second extension I will give is that just to ban it can show that the legal protections are just like insufficient to make sure that the children's welfare is actually just looked at. And so this argument that is already given is that we can show that a lot of people are interested with their child's well-being, are at worst not actually going to care about it, or at best end up with a conflict of interest between protecting the child and not disrupting production so they can make the money. And third of all, I'm just going to move to the rebuttals. So first of all, the opposition team already said that they said that those child actors, they could have legal protection, but in our own info site, we already told you that they're restricted to working short hours and are required by law to complete several hours of school on set every day. And notice the phrase on several hours. So it indeed is not a full school day, and it's not a normal child. And critically, the info state just totally just didn't say nothing about physiological safety and others. So this reality that we make is that the direction on children who cry on cue, memorize lines instantly, and say complaint through multiple tasks. So and this creates a system where the child's parents and agents are a conflict of interest. And speak up about mistreatment, then you lose the role, and lose the role, lose the money, and lose the money in many families, you lose stability. Then there's a much deeper harm that the opposition has thought about, since like child acting is banned for adults in many comparable contexts. So we already gave it to a judge they can have those animations, they can have those other people, they can have those dogs just as a alternative. And then the second rebuttal. So the opposition they said that the children dream of being actors, so they love it and they just want to continue that career, and they didn't want to lose that career, and they just want to continue. However, this society not constant where the person cannot actually understand the long-term consequences. So my teammates already told you, Judge, is that the children cannot understand those contracts, reputational damage, or the physiological toll of public scrutiny. And so the parents, they are not neutral protectors, and the people, they already have those, they already have those problems, and this is where however the well-intentioned family will still sign contracts written by the Hollywood liars. Third of all, the opposition, they believe that if we just ban child acting, then there'll be it will be actually just bad, and it will provide no good. However, child acting is not a black market activity like drugs, and it's a licensed, permitted, but heavily controlled industry. And this means that we already have the infrastructure to enforce a ban, and we don't need to catch criminals in basements just to make those films. So for all, Judge, we should be winning this round, since we already proved to you why our opponents are actually wrong, and also their arguments just totally don't stand, and our arguments are much more better, and we way much more important, and we just give it to you a better alternative for the children's life. For our, I'm so proud to propose. Thank you.
So before I start my speech, I want to give rebuttals to the proposition side. First, proposition side have said that children will have mental health issues if they join the acting team, but I strongly disagree with this, because children won't have mental health issues because they are not working for hours, months, or even sleeping not enough. So they are just being small, not important characters in the act. So this won't create like the parents will don't care about their health, or they want to give their good education. This wouldn't happen because they're not earning so much money. They're just being a small, not important characters. There's most parents that think the children joining an act was just about letting them try new things and giving them joy. If children are working for hours or months, that was not the most children will do. Okay. Also, joining the act will even bring the children joy and experiences, so they can make better decisions and choices when they are grown up. For example, if a children join act when they're small, so when they grown up, they can choose if they want to be an actor, or they want to be other. So they want to be other their jobs. This gives them more experiences and let them know about acting. Okay. Also, acting didn't affect their education. Most children just join the acting in their break, not in their school time. So this didn't give them mental health issues and making them feel exhausted and tired. And this wouldn't affect their education. Also, I want to give rebuttals to the proposition side. They have said that ban ban children actors can protect children, but actually it can't. In practice, it simply shifts production to all alternative methods that may be less regulated or more exploitative, such as digital replication, informal arrangements, or outsourcing to less regulated markets. For example, if proposition allows children to pursue acting voluntarily without pay, for instance, in short student films, this may be abused and children will still act, however, not without pay. By banning children actors domestically, you also remove oversight and protections that come to formal systems, potentially increasing the risk of hidden exploitation rather than reducing it. So just banning children actors can't help the children with their health, and not all the children have mental health issues. They can grow in acting and also can improve their interest. So that's why our arguments are definitely better than the proposition side. And finish.
To start this debate, the government has said we should protect children. But what do we really need to protect them from? Sickness? Death? Like, what's the scary part of acting if children are even not scared of it? Why should the government and parents be scared of it? Or whatever it is. Anyway, so anyways, child actors are minor parts in movies. They don't act the whole movie, and they don't have to waste a bunch of their time and not focus on their studies. And plus, if they can also even focus on their interests, like we always said, and our argument is clearly better than that argument that the proposition included. Also, our argument on future generations has not been rebutted properly, or even a bit. So, Judge, isn't it clear we win this debate and we even have more arguments that are also better than the propositions? Like, like we can reduce stress in school and we can increase the interest like I included before. So, this is why I am proud to oppose. Thank you.
Okay, firstly, before I start my clash questions, I just actually want to mention a normal fact that there's only 24 hours in the day. Child actors, if according to opposition, they need to go to school, they need to go acting and whatever, right? Even though it's minor roles, they still have to overtake these scenes over and over again. For example, these kids need to cry because cry properly and whatever, right? These child actors isn't what the opposition thought of, right? Child actors is highly exploitative because they work in an adult environment, right? They underestimated the risks of child actors, right? So moving on to my clash questions, then there is mainly three clash questions in this debate. Basically, firstly, does the children actually receive anxiety and pressure, right? They tell you these kids, well, because of because they like to act, it actually reduces the anxiety. But we tell you the risk is really high because they work in a highly exploitative environment. They receive the standard of adults, right? If they don't work well, they probably is going to be overworked or they will be underpaid and they don't know what the contract they're signing, right? Their side clearly doesn't know what the risk of these kind of, well, acting is, right? They think it actually decreases the anxiety and the pressure of these kind of children, but actually no, they completely underestimated the risk, right? Secondly, is it safe for these children to act, right? It is completely not safe for these children to act. As what I mentioned again, the opposition basically wants to talk about how it's really important for these kids to be happy. We agree that we want kids to be happy, right? But it isn't safe, right? When you just like imagine this, right? Maybe you're playing basketball or whatever, but you're somewhere of your part is injured, right? But you also want to have one. Where are you going to choose? Injure yourself or just stop playing, right? Of course you're going to stop playing, right? Because this is anything that people know, and it's the same case with child acting here. Lastly, then is the impact of our arguments, right? Their impact is basically telling when they're not banning this child acting, they have a happy life. We agree with that. Happy life is really important. But what we tell you is we actually decrease the possibility of these children to get mental health issues. We decrease the risks of children being exploited to these kind of environment, right? We tell you that these kind of things are really important because we want these children to have a normal childhood life and not be exposed to these cruel things outside the world, right? We tell you that these kind of things is really important, and we don't want these children to be exploited, right? We have a better impact than theirs, and we outweigh them. That's why we propose.